Hey everybody, welcome back to another replay. This was played just a few days ago, and I don't know what the title will be, but yeah, this was kind of I don't want to call it a wake-up call, but just a reminder of, you know, just because the first few minutes or so might go well doesn't mean the entire game will go well. As you probably have guessed, or deciphered from the title or something like that, or just seen because you see the units. I'm playing against the US. And if you follow this channel for a while, you know that I have a. I wouldn't call it a love-hate relationship with the US. I would say it's a pure hate relationship. I'm neither good playing with it. Well, not particularly. I'm fine with it, right? But I don't really excel at it. Nor am I good against it for the most part. I struggle with and against it. So, if I only struggled with it but not against it, you might say, oh, maybe it's just a bad deck. But no, it's both. I'm playing what is currently possibly my favorite deck in the game. On almost at Entente. I'm too used to saying Entente when I'm talking about my favorite deck. Commonwealth Mechanized. I've shown it once or twice, maybe on stream as well. I don't remember. It's fun, right? Mech, of course, for those unaware, got basically nerfed. You lose the infantry veterancy, but you get a second veterancy bonus on your vehicle tab, so +2 vet, which practically is a nerf. Infantry is the most important aspect of the game, and free veterancy on infantry plus cheaper slots plus 4 additional slots was just one of the craziest bonuses you could get in Wargame. Plus, of course, the fact that the strong mech decks, of which there were several, still got a lot of good choices in the infantry tab. Of course, it's restricted, but the good mech decks still had great shock infantry, elite infantry, IFVs, yada yada yada. On top, Commonwealth Mechanized, before the patch already, was one of the mech decks that actually made good use of the vehicle tab. Most mech decks ran sometimes even just one, but usually two, maybe three slots in the vehicle tab. Sometimes possibly even none, though I would say that is rare. If pretty much don't exist outside of just not great decks, let's put it that way. But like I said, Commonwealth always one that made good use because there's just a lot of good vehicles. So indirectly, I would say Commonwealth probably the mech deck that, let's put it that way, got hit the least. It's probably still weaker than before, just purely from strength. Speaking from the strength of the deck, you probably still prefer the veterancy or the infantry. But I'm just pausing here so we don't miss what's going on while I'm still rambling. But it benefited a lot more from the extra veterancy in the vehicle tab, right? You got the Aslav Tutu, you got the Aslav 25, you got the Rover Wombats, you got the Chimera, you got the AVRE. A lot of vehicles, a lot of good vehicles, plenty of those worth running 2 cards of. And of course, you got the Victors as well, which I haven't. I have brought out, right? I pretty much brought out all the entire vehicle type except for the AVRE, right? Lots of good choices. And of course, the Bushmaster got buffed as well. So, yeah, this deck loves this change. Now, love is maybe an exaggeration, but it doesn't mind it as nearly as much as all the other mech decks. So, we're playing against US, double HC opener, and I'll just let this roll. I don't think I really need to narrate a whole lot what's happening. You can see it for yourself. But what I've learned this match is, well, not necessarily what I've learned, but what I got reminded of is US can be just pain in the butt to deal with on, let's call it an open map like this. It's not nearly as open as Mudfight, of course, but probably the second most open map. And I should have approached this differently. While, of course, this is probably the second best, arguably the best, depending on how you play. Maybe you probably want a bit of forest, possibly with the US, depending on how you play it. But certainly one of the best maps for US. It is also still a very good map for mech. But besides it being good or bad, I just shouldn't have approached it the way I did. I approached it the way I would approach a lot of decks, and I would play with a lot of decks. But against certain decks, you just can't do what I did. And spoiler alert, it's what I usually do often when I'm tryharding. I try to get an early advantage, try to get good map positioning, and then mostly just sit and be on the defensive, right? Generally, that can work very well. When it doesn't work, as I'm finally being able to, deal some damage to those HC Abramses. I think I got a crit on one of them with the Chimera, right? The HCs were shooting at the Fusiliers, so I felt like I could get a free shot in with the Chimera. One of them gets an optical failure, and my opponent feels like he has to retreat. He still got a shot off on my Chimera, which is bad for me, but at least not two of them, and might have died there. It says it's on 5 HP, it could be on 5.5, so it might have survived there. But still, fortunately for me, my opponent retreats while I still have some fire support and have the superior infantry. And there is my arch nemesis number 1, the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, I hate it. One of the key units that I suck playing against and with, it always gets out on 1 HP. It always freaking gets out on 1 HP, and Commonwealth sucks especially against this plane, because all their AA, like their missile AA, is relatively low HE. Stormer, from my point of view, I thought like, is it in the smoke? Is it not? It isn't, right? That's one of the frustrating parts of a war game, admittedly. And ranges were here. I didn't realize ranges were there. I was hoping that maybe, because I only spotted these things here, that our opponent had no line of sight on this. It gets sniped, still gets hit, but 2 front armor, only takes 3 damage. My Hornet misses a bunch of missiles. Did it miss like 4 missiles? I believe the Javelin... either the Javelin missed and the Hornet hit with all but 1 missile thus far, or the Hornet missed all and the Javelin missed with hit with one of them. But out of all those 5 missiles, including the one from the Javelin, I think only 1 hit. It looked like it, at least. Either way, as it always does, it gets out on 1 HP, and I get hit by the Hawk, by the second missile from the Hawk, and die. So that's, of course, frustrating. At first I thought I killed it, but then I realized there was no plane crashing down, etc. So yeah, I did not end up killing it. Still, I actually make decent progress on the ground. I was sticking +2 for a bit, so I had 60 points in the bank. I still felt kind of okay, right? I had my Chimeras alive, sure. I lost my Stormer. I lost my Hornet, but I got map positioning. And I got this position here. And this, I think, was key mistake number 1. My opponent was still retreating with their units. Just Razzmann here. I immediately, in my mind, against US, should have pushed into this forest. And tried to put pressure both on Foxtrot in terms of having this, right, and maybe on the side here, as well as pushing pressure onto here. Maybe with this, push into the penis-shaped forest on Bravo. But I didn't. Sure, I sent some Fusiliers in there, but Fusiliers is not as amazing as they are with their AT for the price. They have their limits. They're still just light infantry, and I have no other fire support other than those Aslas, which, spoiler alert, will die, I think. Or maybe those are different Aslas I'm thinking of. Either way, I'm not making enough of this. Also, those Rangers are still alive, which takes a while for me to realize. I immediately buy some M108s just to keep him pinned down here with the Hawks. I knew the Hawk was there, and I was hoping maybe I get like a lucky hit on there, or maybe at least just damage the Abramses, stop them from repairing, just be annoying and slow him down, right? My main objective was not necessarily to kill, but if I can damage the Hemd, or just do a little bit of damage to the Abramses so the repair timer gets reset, slowing down sometimes is enough, because sure, while KD-wise I'm definitely behind, I feel, you can easily make that up by having a good defensive position. And there I realized, oh, that HLVW is spotted, those Rangers is alive, I'm moving with the Gazelle to spot it, and kill it. Razzmann came in, did these Fusiliers kill like one of the M113s, which causes them to be panicked, etc. But there's 2 M1 IPs in behind, and out comes the moment where I'm like, oh. Now, I used to be a rover wombat. I wouldn't call it hater, but I was always like, yeah, it's a decent unit, but I think people overrated it. I might have to adjust that. So those M1 IPs retreat. And my rovers, very choosy. They're still retreating. 1, 2, 3. That's 14 AP for them, right? And good range. That's what makes those wombats so good. But one of the things, they have another step of range compared to pretty much all other recoilless rifle jeeps. And yeah, 7 side armor, 14 AP deals 14.5 is 4.5 damage, so 3 hits. That was a sick kill. Most riflemen killed my labs, by the way. Pretty unfortunate. But yeah. Lots of riflemen, I just realized. Holy smokes. But yeah, still positioning wise, I'm looking good. Even if I lose this, right? Having this, having that, having this. This is like basically usually my key strategy for this map on the side. But I think against US, and there will be plenty of opportunities to showcase this, this is not what you should do. At least not with the deck that I have, or the way I built it either way. I put down some preemptive smoke, also see the Thunderbolt coming, gives me enough time to retreat here. And unfortunately I don't kill it, but I deal some damage. With the rapiers, you basically have to hope to get some side shots in. Because 5 HE, you need to 5 hits to kill it. And 1 IP takes the shot from the Milan too. He's neat, but retreats. I try to get the shot off with the SF-202s and with the Wombats here, Vickers here. Yeah, I'm trying to push here, but I need infantry, of course. I see the AHCs here, but I think... Ooh, I didn't realize I got this shaken. I probably should have abused his lack of cover more. Sure, there was a hawk, but that's nothing a seaplane can't protect you from. Unless you get unlucky. Either way, I buy my first CV. I felt like I'm ahead. I'm already taking on Alpha, but I'm like, I have 2 Chimeras, I have like SF-202s. I can start taking even more, right? I was feeling pretty confident. But obviously, that's a slow and insidious killer, yada yada yada. Try to get some sneaky shots in with the Tortugas, but I get too aggressive when they have 1 IP. And the Rifleman 90 even here get a shot off. This was what surprised me the most, that they actually had line of sight here. I would have guessed or assumed that this ridge actually blocks it, but I assumed that because this squad fired, I guess this one was too close, but this one was just far enough to have line of sight up there and in just enough range to get a shot off. I'm trying to deal with HCs a bit. I think I baited the shots with commandos, or rather I was pushing up the commandos and was trying to, at the very least, get some value from them getting caught up by the HCs. Didn't really work out for me. But at the end of the day, right, if this continues to happen, I wouldn't mind, right? I'm ticking, and if all we do is exchange a bit of HP on our heavy tanks and both retreat, I'm retreating into winning position. Conquest points wise, right? But they retreat. I get some spam infantry first, following up with some commandos to get back into here. Trying to be annoying, but at this point my opponent also has a paladin, which will be annoying and quite impactful. I do think I get the kill here, if I remember correctly, thanks to the javelins. Must have gotten a side shot in there somehow. Both of the rapiers actually died. I turned them off the moment I saw the raven and thought I moved them, but I guess I didn't. So even the second one got killed by it. It was just sloppy by me, I guess. But it's still a good trade. Both points wise, I think. Well, definitely points wise. 110 points of rapiers versus 155 on the A10. But also value wise. Now there's the HC, but I just pulled them back the moment I saw the A10, and now I can't support this, so that's bad. The HCs, they're getting a lot of value, and I'm struggling to do with them. In hindsight, I shouldn't have put them up here. For multiple reasons. For one, without a turret, with a not so great speed, it's actually really difficult to make them work up here and shoot down there. The other thing is, against US, a lot of decks, but especially against US, they have a lot of strong aerial, especially aerial anti-tank units, right? Longbow, A10, Nighthawk are the prime ones. Very easy for this side to get line of sight onto this plateau and just snipe your stuff. And the other part is just, if I had 4 Chimeras down there, I probably could have pushed those 2 HCs properly. Whereas if you're trying to, this pincer maneuver doesn't really work that well. It works if your opponent tries to push out here, right? But if you're pushing from this angle, they can just position the HCs here or the tanks in this forest here, and you can't shoot back there. It was just one of my biggest strategical mistakes in this match. Because the other thing with the Chimeras, it's gonna be very awkward to try to push down here. As much as I love those Chimeras, they have serious drawbacks, or it does have a serious drawback, and I can't push down here. Still though, I'm ahead. It's 20 minutes to go, and I would say I kind of came back, or at least last minutes are pretty even on KD. Sure, lost a bunch of infantry, but I traded the A10. My opponent, I didn't check this, but definitely saw this move in, or at least saw the Unimog or something. It was foolish of me to get this infantry CV in there. Gets immediately sniped, and I have no radar AA, so it gets out. There was another big mistake. Immediately should have gone for the what's it called? The tank, you know, Chieftain CV. Either that or put CV up here, but that also would have been a bit spicy because there's not many positions, so also an easy Nighthawk target, but should have gone for the Chieftain to begin with. M108 shelling in there. Command Abrams moving in. That mother fricker, just spoiler alert, won't die. And up until I watched this replay at 10x, I didn't realize how close it came to dying multiple times. Snipe an HC here, which was very nice, and I didn't even notice until now. I sniped one later on from here, I believe. But had I known that, would have been some good information. Fortunately, my opponent doesn't have a Riggin helicopter. I mean, I do smoke here, so it would have been safe either way, but without Riggin helicopter, would have been, it's pretty much impossible to spot further than basically the green edge here. Thunderbolt is around, but does it die? It does actually die here without really sniping anything of value. So that was very good for me. I do move down here with the commandos because I was like, US infantry is gonna suck against commandos, but M1IP and even the base M Abrams, right? They're actually pretty good against infantry, so it admittedly, honestly, was a desperation move on my end. And this is where I really start to crumble, I think. Sure, just killed the A10, but the worst is just about to come. My Chimeras are also still alive, but I think I should have, you know, there were multiple. I should stop pausing this when there's really nothing to explain on the screen. I bombed with the F-111, had the Sea Harrier. I did dealt some damage, but yeah, the CV didn't move as well. This is something and that's gonna happen basically throughout the entire game. CV just barely moves ever. When I expect my opponent to move CVs, and inadvertently sometimes they actually played around a bit. Keep shelling wherever the Hawk fires or something, just trying to hopefully get a kill. Yeah, M108s usually do a really good job. It's just like the priests, but this game, either I wasn't good with it or I got unlucky. I think it's a mix of both, plus it probably just not been too great against US anyway. They don't have a lot of soft targets to go for, and I had very little intelligence throughout this entire game. My opponent was really good with the Riken, I was very bad. That's another thing. What I was saying, yeah, there were multiple, like, basically wake-up calls throughout the entire game that should have told me, hey, stop doing that, you gotta do something else, right? The Nighthawk sniping there on the right, the Commando's just dying there. The Chimera's sitting there doing pretty much nothing. Yeah, I should have stopped, basically just continuing to do the same thing as throughout the entire game, and then just something different, be the aggressor or something else. Eventually, I really started getting the planes going, which is something that in general I should do more often. Also, I get incredibly lucky with my Chimera here. Out of 2 salvos, only 1 Hellfire hit, which was crazy lucky. It was so out of position, which I forgot about and didn't get punished. Holy smokes. And that's on top of the longbow nerf where it has an increased aim time, right? Yeah. Our opponent's also really good with the Paladin, keeps sniping stuff. 2 F-111s and a Cluster Hornet. Gets the HC down really low, gets this down really low, but they didn't even move. They just stayed there, and throw out 1 HP makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. I did, of course, throughout the game, I had no idea what I hit, right? If I had anything. I dealt a ton of damage with those planes, but it does not show on the KD. And I'm so, in hindsight, of course, and now I did there so much. But you know, that's just what happens. On the other hand, maybe I actually got lucky with how the bombs landed, and on average, maybe would have survived from 3 or 4 HP. I don't know, of course. Either way, the thing, of course, this is also on 1 HP. Really lucky. I assume that the an M19 or something just hit very close to this. I actually didn't pay attention. Nighthawk, I don't know what this was going. What was happening here? It just kept circling. I don't know if my opponent just set it out on accident. I don't think they were trying to bait missiles here. They didn't get punished because all I had was a javelin, and I did not want to buy a Hornet with a Seagull out because I don't think I could have guaranteed the kill having only some active missiles. There's a longbow here now, of course. Well, there has been for a while, which is annoying, and it's actually really annoying to try to move AA around. Paladin shoots me. There's HC somewhere that I don't know about. And now there's an M1A2 that I haven't even spotted yet. I won't spot this until, until my opponent, yep, there it is, decides to get the second one. Again, just really bad when it comes to recon management, but also I need anti-tank planes. Or I needed them earlier. Especially with only one Seagull circling, you can just wait until it's evacuating again. I thought I should have changed something with my anti-tank stuff. Nighthawk just dies immediately without doing anything. That is really good. Basically all 3 annoying planes are gone. Sure, there's still a Raven, but I don't rely for radar AA to deal with the longbow, which is the last big aerial threat in my eyes. So not killing the Raven is not a big deal because I have the Stormer, I have manpads against longbow. That's whatever. I keep shilling. I keep saying shilling as well. I keep shelling basically where I spot Abrams, annoy them, deal a bit of splash damage, stop them from repairing, panic them, etc. etc. Really nice. Marines here are actually really good. They're gonna be a thorn in my eye as well. There's the double M1A2. My Chimera is out of fuel. It's not refueling because of the fire. In a bit, I remember to like, oh yeah, oh, I've screwed myself up with the smoke here. I'm not sure if it would have saved the Stormer's life. It might have died either way, but I think the longbow was still like decelerating with its nose up, so it might have actually not been able to get both the salvo up until before it died. But either way, longbow fortunately dies. I in a second remember to just merge and split them to share fuel. Got a chieftain for here because I was done with the paladin. Got a chieftain for here because I was done with the paladin. I knew there was some, or I expected there was some infantry here now. There's also a second Seagull, which was really bad because the whole time I was basically waiting until the Seagull was evacuating and then send out my horde of planes. So this was of course very annoying for me. See the Rangers and then move back in. Move back in here as well. But those M1A2s are a huge issue. And this is the moment where I'm like, I should replace the Harrier GR7 in my deck. Because as much as I like the Harrier GR7, it just sucks against... As soon as you go up against 2 tanks, 2 heavy tanks, right? Because if you're going up against one, there's the other Milan Tuke. This one I actually noticed. If you're going up against one super heavy, of course, you can basically get it out like 2 or 3 HP, unless you're really unlucky. Plus panic and stun, right? That's what laser cat bombs are really good at. Really bad smoke on my part here. Another unnecessary loss, by the way. But also, if there's 2, not only am I gonna leave 1 alive, but the other one can just keep pushing. If I had the Kehu, at least I would have killed 1, right? Obviously, killing is always better, but the GR7, I like it for its multi-roll, right? This time I just sent around out planes. I have no idea what I misclicked with my F11s, but they're not doing anything. I kill a Seagull at least. I get both right clicks off on the M1A2s. Unfortunately, they both survive. It's 4 top armor for you. So that's unfortunate. I completely forgot this. Oh my god, the last 84 gets the kill shot. I mean, I don't want to say I got unlucky here. Maybe my opponent actually got unlucky that they needed so many 84s. Admittedly, I have no idea, right? But yeah. Longbow, I believe, dies here. F11. Again, this one was very weird. I have no idea why this one failed to drop as well. I gave you like a very late, sorry, very early fire position command, right? I didn't like change its target like last second. That one was, I don't know what was going on there. Maybe some of the planes position or some stuff like that, like sortation or something was messed up when it missed the fire position in the round before and evac, and then it spawned like upside down or something like that. I have no clue. Either way, that was very frustrating. I probably wouldn't have killed it either way, but still annoying. And yeah, at this point, my CVs are slow to get there. I'm behind. My opponent is ticking. And I can't really try to push and try to go for a CV snipe with my chimeras. There's a super cobra as well with Totus. There's still at least one M1A2, but there's two. And so the chimeras I can't push with. I'm also thinking, last chance, maybe I should have done it, but also like if I don't have them there, right, the Abrams literally just gonna drive down as well. And I'm like a minute late or something with my CVs to at least get a draw out. I need like 3 or 4 points at the end to get a draw. I get a loss. I'm mad. I was never salty throughout the game. I'm of course annoyed that I lost, but I just can't blame anyone but myself, right? So yeah, and as a result, just in my deck and put the KO back in. Yeah. By the way, in case you haven't seen it, this is my deck, at least the current version. Maybe I should replace the Maxus. I was thinking with the Shift Mark 10. It's 60 points now, and it's like a good like defensive wall. It is yet another really immobile basic tank. Well, this time it's a real tank, not like a pseudo tank like the Chimera. Or maybe I should just make 2 points somewhere, but I do have the Recce for like a mobile-ish tank, so. And again, in this price point, I also have the Recce as well, but it doesn't have the armor. I'm not sure. Maybe I just should stick with the Maxas though. Either way though, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Like in general about the matchup, about the match, what I should have done, shouldn't have done. Of course, in hindsight, when you watch the replay, many things are easy to say, so it is for me as well. But you know, sometimes you just have those matches that are wake-up calls. Like in certain situations, certain matchups, what works 80% of the time, just it doesn't work this time, right? And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.